And it goes a little something like.
How can you want all summer and after fall, I'll keep you.
Hello and welcome back to Otter Talk. This is episode number 2 of Otter Talk, where we discuss the weekly happenings of Ottawa Braves sports. This week we're going to cover the week of October 3rd to October 9th. It's an action-packed week with many teams getting their chance to compete, with volleyball to all the way to golf and cross country. We're going to kick things off with women's soccer. Women's soccer able to get some KCAC games in this week, trying to add more wins to their conference record. Had 2 games this last week versus Avila and York. First game was last Wednesday at home against Avila. Avila came into the contest 2 places higher than Ottawa in the KCAC standings, and Ottawa was trying to catch them a little bit. But Avila came in and were able to hold the Ottawa Braves scoreless, able to record the clean sheet. Braves were able to put 3 of their 6 shots on goal, but were not able to find the back of the net. Avila was able to find the back of the net twice, both of them coming on goals from Morgan Petlin of the Avila Eagles. But Ottawa had a chance to bounce back on the road against York later that week on Saturday. York, who came in second to last in the KCAC standings, were simply outmatched by the Ottawa Braves. Ottawa bombarded the York goalkeeper with 15 shots on goal, putting them under constant pressure and putting the defense on constant pressure as well. Didn't take long for the Braves to find the back of the net and grab themselves the lead off a corner kick. A ball rebounded to the defender Raina Werner, who finished the job, grabbing her first goal of the season. The Braves were able to keep the pressure, but were unable to find a goal until midway through the second half, when Justina Velez cut her way through the York defense like a hot knife through butter, slotted the goal to the right side of the keeper for her 4th of the season. With that 4th goal, Justina Velez climbed to the top of the Ottawa Braves leaderboard of goals in the season. After going 1-1 on the week, the Braves record moved to 3-5-2 overall and 2-2-1 in the KCAC. Braves women's soccer will play 2 more games this week. We'll travel to Lindsborg, Kansas to play Bethany, and we'll come back home for a match against Bethel on Saturday. Sticking with the soccer theme, we're going to move to men's soccer. Both men's and women's soccer competing against the same teams this week. Men's soccer with two games as well against Avila and York. The Braves had a very, very hard-fought game against Avila, very back and forth, that saw both teams have an abundance of chances. The Braves were able to finish the game with 9 shots on target, and the Avila Eagles were able to claim 10 of their own. Both teams were able to keep goals off the scoreboard in the first half, setting up what many thought were going to be a defensive battle. But in the 53rd minute, Julian Colchado took a corner that found the head of Samir Brito, headed it right over the defender on the line on the corner kick for his first goal of the season. And just 10 minutes later, Avila had a chance to put themselves on the scoreboard, coming on a free kick with Matthias Steinhaus, who finished the penalty and drew the game even at 1-1. As the game went on, the chances kept coming, and it wasn't long before Ben Smolnar, the former KCAC Player of the Week, came up in the clutch and scored the game winner in the 86th minute. The game winner was Molnar's 8th goal of the season, moved him to the top of the goal-scoring leaderboards for men's soccer. Ottawa looked to keep things rolling as they traveled to York later on that week, much like the women's soccer team. Got off to a good start in York. Braves hopped out to an early lead. It's just 5 minutes in, had themselves a free kick, and Julian Colchado was able to slot one home for his first goal of the season. York was able to muster a response just a minute later on a diving header from Alexander Mata. Later, a defensive mistake gave York the chance to score in the 26th minute, and Johan Rodriguez would not squander that chance, put one past the Braves keeper to move the score to 2-1. Now, chasing a goal in soccer is one of the hardest things you can do because you can't really defend, and you're trying to put your offense on the front foot so you can put a goal on the scoreboard to tie things up. Pushing for that equalizer made them susceptible to the counterattack, and that is exactly what Archford Manduvi did. found the counterattack and put one into the back of the net for a 3-1 lead at the time, and that's exactly where the game would hold out. York outshot the Braves 16-8 and were able to put constant pressure, and that's how they came out victorious. With Braves men's soccer going 1-1 on the week, they moved to 4-6-2 overall and 3-3 in conference play, and settled themselves into 5th in the KCAC. Ottawa's going to play 2 more games this week, as we mentioned, with women's soccer. Going to go play Bethany and then go back home to play Bethel. Next, talk about women's volleyball. Women's volleyball having a home match against Avila last Wednesday. All 3 Braves teams at home against Avila last Wednesday was really a buzz around the campus, as both men's, women's soccer were able to play Avila, and women's volleyball also getting the chance to play Avila. Just one game. Avila, the only game that women's volleyball saw last week. Avila tried their best to put up a fight in the first set, tied the set at 24 before the Braves, who led the set in kills 19-13, were able to come out on top, claiming the final 2 points to grab the 26-24 victory in that first set. The second set came around, and the Braves were able to create a little bit more breathing room, taking the lead early. And though Avila was able to hang around, it wasn't quite enough, as the Braves were able to extend their lead and grab the 25-20 victory in that set. Now, the final set came around, and Ottawa seemed to not be wanting to waste time anymore. Were able to put their foot down on the gas, jumping out to an early 7-3 lead behind their 13 kills in the set, began to run away with things, and took the match by a wide margin of 25-12. Braves ended up finishing the match with 50 kills, a .342 attacking percentage, 45 assists, 7 service aces, 54 digs, 2 solo blocks, and 4 block assists. Caitlin Elston led the Braves in kills with 10 kills. Caitlin Holler had 21 assists, also led the Braves, and Emily Jackson led the Braves in digs with 14. Ottawa continued their dominance in KCAC play, moving themselves undefeated once again, going to 4-0 in the KCAC conference. A busy week coming up for women's volleyball. They're going to play 4 matches next week, including 2 in Des Moines, Iowa, where they'll take on the 17th team in the country. Football going on the road this weekend, going up to the University of St. Mary's, playing the Spires. The Braves had beaten the Spires in the last 4 meetings, and we're looking to extend that streak to 5. So apologies for the lack of highlights. The first quarter or so of this Spires broadcast was a little bit skippy, so the interception earlier in the game and the first touchdown of the game was completely skipped over. But anyway, we're going to get into the highlights. The game started slowly, and neither team was able to put chances on the board early. Both the defensive matchup, punts and interceptions, were able to rule over the first quarter. But in the second quarter, just took the Braves 5 minutes into that second quarter to hand the ball to Derek Curtis, who was able to find some running room, took the ball 63 yards into the end zone for the first touchdown of the game. Later, an interception by Devin Johnston put the Braves in good field position, and just minutes later, Colton Davis ran the ball along the left side for 35 of his 94 rushing yards for a touchdown of his own, putting the Braves up 14-0 just minutes before the end of the half. A safety to start the third and a Colton Davis passing touchdown to Dylan Foos put the Ottawa Braves up 3 scores, with the Braves beginning to cruise to the finish line. The Braves were able to pad the lead a bit with 2 more scores. First, a rushing touchdown by Derek Curtis late in the third quarter for his second of the game, and Colton Davis with his second passing touchdown, this one to Corey Jones, gave them the victory. Ottawa finished the game with 318 total yards of offense, 111 of those passing and 207 of those rushing, as the Braves were able to get things done on the ground. Colby Johnson led the Braves on defense with 13 tackles and 1.5 tackles for loss. With this game and the amount of tackles Colby Johnson was able to record, he surpassed the 400 career tackle mark, which is an absolute astronomical number. Could never think of anybody recording 400 tackles in their time here, so congratulations to Colby Johnson. Johnson also was selected as a semifinalist for the William V. Campbell Trophy, as the selections for the finalists are going to be released in a week or so, at the 27th of October. With the win, Ottawa's going to move to 3-4 overall and 2-4 in the KCAC. They'll be off next week, but are going to return back to Ottawa to play in the homecoming game against Friends University on the 23rd of October. Men's and women's golf also had themselves a chance to compete this week as they competed in the KCAC match play out in Dodge City, Kansas. The men's team were beat twice by Southwestern College in the quarterfinals and also the semifinals. Both matches were close, with Southwestern coming out on top 3-2 and 3-1. They ended up finishing 7th in the competition and will finish their fall season in the upcoming week at the Tabor Fall Invitational. The women's golf team was also beaten out at the KCAC match play tournament out in Dodge City, Kansas. They were beat by Sterling College and Southwestern College, with Sterling coming out victorious 4-1. But the Southwestern Mound Builders were just barely able to edge out the Braves, beating them 3-2. They will also finish their fall season in the upcoming week, playing in that Tabor Fall Invitational as well. And finally, men's and women's cross country getting their chance to compete this week as they competed in the Fort Hays State Tiger Open. The Ottawa's men's cross country team had 3 Braves place in the competition on Saturday. Caleb Meyer was the first Brave to cross the line in 113th place as he completed with a time of 28 minutes, 57 seconds, and 3 milliseconds. The Braves are going to be back in action cross country-wise on the 23rd of October, where they'll go out to Winfield, Kansas, to compete in the Mid-States Classic. Women's cross country competing in the same tournament as the men's, the Fort Hays State Tiger Open. Women's cross country saw 5 runners place in the competition. The next competition will also be that Mid-States Classic on October 23rd, as they'll go out to Winfield, Kansas with the men's cross country team. That's going to do it for the second episode of Otter Talk. We covered the week of October 3rd to October 9th, covering all the major sports. Rather good week for Braves sports. But from everyone here behind the camera in the booth, hope you have a good day. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Blake Griffin, signing off.
And it goes a little something like...